Okay, so what I'm going to demonstrate is how to create a section, a quick section cut or a profile um, from a surface that you create in Civil 3D. So once you have your design done, what you're going to do is go over to the tool space and go to surface, and then prospector, surfaces. I'm going to say create surface. I'm just going to go through the prompts and not even name it, be lazy. Back to tool space, go to that surface, go to the definitions. Before I do that, I'm going to click on some of these contours, make sure I get the major and minors. I'm not going to worry about spot elevation for this, just the contours. I select similar and kind of zoom out and make sure it's grabbing all the contours. It looks like it is. Maybe there's some here that it's not grabbing. And then I'm going to say select similar. Okay. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is go to back to my tool space. Definitions, contours, I'm going to say just add. And I'm going to go through the basic prompts and just say okay. Might come up with some errors, but that's okay. And what's happened is it's created a surface. Now we don't have a particular setting put onto this surface where it's portraying a lot of information. It's just pretty much an outline. But if I hover over it, you'll notice that it gives me a z-axis position. It gives me a 413.712 elevation. So I know there's a surface here. So now once I have a surface, I can create sections or elevations, really, right? So in order to do that, I need to first create an alignment. So I'm on layer 0. I'm going to do this PL. And this is kind of the cockeyed, and that's fine. I'm going to keep it like that just to make this really, really simple to draw. I have my ortho on, so it's straight line across, but your section line can be anywhere. Again, just for sake of simplicity, I'm going to come across. And let's say that I want that to be my section line. And now I'm going to see information that's going up this way. I want to look towards that water fountain. That's kind of the idea. And let me come across both sidewalks and actually hit the building. I'll hit both buildings. All right, so say that's my section line. Now what I need to do is go to the home, alignment, create alignment from object. I'm going to click this, hit enter. To give me a direction, which means it's going to start from here and go this way. It's fine for me. It doesn't really matter. Site, it's okay. The name, I can call this section 1, I guess. Oops, section 1. Say okay. And I'm going to say okay. Now my alignment is created. Once I have my alignment, I can click on it, and you'll notice that it gives you some different options. So I'm going to go to Surface Profile. Surface 1 is the surface that we created, so I need to add that to it. And once I do that, I can say Draw Profile. Let's see if I can go to Profile Display Options. I guess we'll do all that later. That's fine. Just say Create Profile, and then it'll say click an insertion point, and you'll get your profile. Now this is exaggerated now because the Z axis, the vertical axis, is, I guess in this instance, since it's X, Y, and Z, Y jump, the Y axis is exaggerated. So to fix that for us, because I don't want it to be exaggerated, I can go into Profile Properties, Edit Profile Style. Oops, what is it? Uh-oh. Profile View, Property, Profile View. There you go. It's right-clicked and Edit Profile View Style. So I'm in under Graph Setting. I want to make sure my vertical exaggeration is 1. Right now it's 10, and that's why it looks, there's larger dips in it. There actually is. So I'm going to say apply and OK, and you'll see it changes it, and this is giving us what is actually happening. Now remember, because we had that direction going from here to here, and you see there's more topography here, that's what it's expressing. So it's going from that right side from the east to the west, and that's, I could reverse it, but that's the direction that it's going. And that's why we have that fall off, but that is what that profile view will look like. Also, what's kind of cool in this, and you can change these settings, it'll give you slope arrows showing you which way water is going, and then also the percent slope attached to it. And you can adjust these settings so you can kind of get a sense of what's going on percent wise, percent slope wise for this. What I want to do is, because this thing is connected to that alignment, I want to be able to explode this easily and bring it into effectively into Photoshop. So once I have this and I've made those adjustments to my vertical range, I am going to then explode. I'm going to click on just the percentages and explode that. I want them loose. And I'm going to see if I can click on my arrows. Actually, for my arrows too, let me go back to another way to do this. So edit profile style. I want to turn off, I don't want to see the arrows for this. And I'm going to say apply and say OK. And then I want to click just on that line, that profile line, and I want to explode that profile line. And then I'll do it one more time so I can actually delete that grid and be left with a profile and then the percent slopes in case I want to use them in my graphic. Okay. Now, it's disjointed right now, it's disconnected, so I'm going to say polyline edit PE, edit, enter, M for multiple. I'm going to select everything, enter. It's going to say convert to polylines. I'm going to say yes, Y for yes, enter, and then I'm going to say J for join, and the fuzz distance is going to be 1, enter, and it should join that line for me, so it's one common geometry. And it should be on layer 0, and I can also change that layer 0 color to red, and we get that. Make sure that that is on properties for by layer, and there we go. And then for the just for the numbers, I want to explode those two. Still want to have them. I can select similar and put them on their own layer. But I can also, once I select similar, I can just change the height of it. So I'm under properties now, and maybe it's 0.8 or something. So it's bigger, and again, we can control it. Maybe that's too big. Maybe it's like 0.5. You get some overlaps and some negative entries where it's coming from, but again, it's giving you a sense. And I'm just deleting some of these, just trying to clean it up because I don't want them everywhere. Like, I don't need to see 0.6, 0.94, nah. Don't need that. It's pretty flat here. I think we get it. All that goes. And again, this is giving you a sense of what percent slope. So what this stuff means, and we'll look at this more as you matriculate through the program, but for instance, if you're navigating of a wheelchair, most ordinances say that the slope percent can't exceed 8%. So if this was 9.47% going up, we would have to modify that slope slightly in order to allow for handicap accessibility. So that's one of the reasons why slope is so important, but it's really the control of landform. So I have these things here. That looks pretty good to me. Now we need to relay the elements from our design onto it. So how do we do that? So for me, the easiest way to do that is I'm just going to copy that section of my design. So I'm just Control-C and copying and selecting all that with my line, my profile line. And I'm going to get some of this stuff in the background too, because the scene's probably going to be pretty plain. I'm going to come over and put do this here. And I really don't need my contours, but it's fine. What I'm going to do is for this, I'm going to create a group just so it's all together and I can move it, hopefully. Oop. Yeah. So I want to be able to move this. And actually what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to mirror it because I want to make it aligned, but it's the same profile. I'm just going to change the alignment direction just in this way. There you go. And that way it'll make more sense with what we have. So I'm going to put that first point here and that point, and that should basically give us where all our elements are. All right, that's what that profile is doing. So it's going up right here, and it gets kind of flat, only at 1.2% on this side. So now we need to relay the stuff. Now a true section or elevation only shows elements that touch the line. So if you're not touching the line, I'm not relaying you. So in that instance, you know, I might show this is sidewalk and that's my section line. I might show this side, my sidewalk's going to be a little bit thicker, and that's going to be my offset for these things, and come up. Alright. Then I'd come along, you have a piece of a section of wall here, it looks like. So I'm not sure, maybe it's 3 feet, I'm guessing. And then this is where you'd really want to go out and find out, but since I'm not there right now to know, that's kind of what it is. Maybe it's a little bit more on this side. Alright, so that's coming along that piece. Now I can continue this if I was looking at the background piece of it. I mean, I guess I could take this, and it's like there's a retaining wall basically going up there from that point. So really from this to this, you know, you got this kind of retention that's happening. And maybe it's stepped a little bit as it goes up, and you can go out and get in field verify, but it kind of gives me that sense that there's a wall there. I'm gonna keep it going right here. Again, I got another section of walkway. I don't know what I came down there. Let's measure it. I'm just using DI. And that's giving me what, 0.89. So then maybe here, the same thing along that sidewalk point, 0.89. I'm going to come over to where I intersect. And then I'm going to hit building. And this building may be 3 stories, so maybe it's 36 feet. And I'm just going to come over. And then likewise here, where I'm hitting building, coming over 36 feet, coming over. Now this is really boring along this, and but it's something important. It's showing landform information, but I want to be able to convey maybe this tree as well. So, you know, in the background, I would just come down and drop it like this, and that would represent where I know my tree is going to be. If I wanted to show these in the background, I can come down and snap to that perpendicular point. I'm just going to offset these. Right, and then this, you got that, and you got that. I also got those light posts, but I'll handle those separately. But it's the idea of figuring out how, you know, tall these things actually are. Remember that one. It's the actual monument. I'll put a precedent for scale. You need to go out and measure. It's giving those scale references, and what I can do, there's a tree right here too. We'll put the tree right there. Is begin to build. So I'm using FX Site blocks. So I'm gonna go to elevation graphics, and I'm gonna go and grab a person first because I need to see my scale. I'm gonna say that somebody's just standing. And I'm gonna get the girl, and gonna say okay. So drop her into a scale and take off my O snap if it's snapping crazy and just try to put her there. So for my tree, I'll have a sense of how big she is. So perfect. Now I'll come in my blocks again, elevation graphics, and then I'm gonna go into my plants. I'm gonna go into trees, and I'll go in like a conifer or something like that. That's allowed. Go into deciduous. I'm gonna grab this first one, and it's gonna ask me to plant that sucker. I'm gonna say okay, and then you drag out to kind of change the scale. So it's probably a decent sized tree. So I'm gonna say that's good for that. There's another tree here, so I'm just gonna chase it on that line, and in Photoshop I'll just kind of fade that thing back. I got my right, but there's another tree in the background right here. So on my cut line, yeah, the tree's actually, I can see it. So I'm gonna put another tree there. I guess that's good with my trees. I got my building line. So now that I see that, I'm gonna kind of guesstimate this memorial height. So I'm gonna say those things are about right there. Coming over, and then I can just trim that away. And there's something else right there, and I think that's, I'm not sure what that is, honestly. I need to go back out there and look, but let's just say that that's like that. Trim that away. And you can get really detailed with this. This is where you can really kind of go in, and I need to go out and measure and find these things. I will go out and measure, so I'll double check your work. And then I would offset, like I know there's a different band of material here. You know, I'm just eyeballing this quickly, but boom. Right, so you can begin to convey what's actually going on in the design. I'll drop some brick texture in it or something. So that goes, if I cut through that, I would actually cut into the ground plane to show where the fountain is. So, you know, you see that in my example. That's happening kind of again, so this is at kind of a funky angle, but I'm gonna try to copy that just to see where it hits with the second one. And it's pretty much there. Cool. So I can get rid of this and that, and then I got one of them things again, so just using that as an inference point, coming over. Oh, I got right there. And trim that, and that, and that, and that right there. So I kind of have that, and I'm beginning to build my section. Right. Okay. Which one is it? Oh, so I'm on the wrong line, but I'll just extend these things down. Just come down. Everybody, come down. Come on down. My bad. Don't make that mistake. All right. And this is really coming down to here. That is right. All right. Cool. So again, you're beginning to express what's going on in the design, and then once I have those elements placed, I guess it's enough. I have those little light posts, and I would get those in there too. So maybe that's from right here. And this one's barely going to show. This one you'll see. And then you got this one going to show. Alright, so I'm just hitting center points, so maybe I'll just offset point. Well, really what I can do is offset through and hit the side, and that's the size of it, and we'll say that's a light post. Maybe it's like that big. Seems big, but that's what it looks like to me. That's coming down. That's the center point, and then I'll trim this past that line. We can clean some of this up after too. And then maybe that gets copied over these pieces from center line. And you know, center line. Okay, so now once I have all that stuff drawn out, what I'll do and all the elements that I want to convey, then I don't need this stuff anymore. Alright, so I get rid of the buildings and all that stuff that I didn't need. Don't need my contours here anymore. Don't need any of that. Alright. Again, I'm just stripping away stuff that I don't need. Well, look, there was a light post there, so maybe I should put that there before I strip that away. Oh, another one right there. Again, this is nice because it helps you see things, what's going on spatially around you. Alright. And then, not that line, but just a straight line. That goes away. That goes away. I'll just clean up some stuff here. And I can trim. These don't have center points. I'll say that that is behind that. Maybe as well trim that out there. So you're thinking about layers and how things are stacked behind each other in real life. So I need that. I said that's like that. This might be stacked, but I'm not sure. So from here it's 3 feet from top, but I don't know because I didn't verify. So I'll go here, trim, boom. We'll do that for now. You drop another person in, just as and again as a reference. I'm not going to use these people. I'm going to use photorealistic people. Just drop this person in, and boom, and just for kind of a reference. And they would be standing here on the hardscape. Okay. And I said like those light posts. So maybe that's actually what they look like. Huh. Cool. So then maybe they're that tall. So I'm going to call that a light post. Get rid of it. Because this is going to be just a reference for me. And if I had a section of it, it took the time, if it was a custom piece, then I can actually design that. I'm going to drop this thing in. It looks like there was one where, oh yeah. And right there. And I'll get rid of that. Okay, cool. That tree can go away as well. And there you have it, your section. Cut and trim that. That shouldn't be there. That's the line. So now what I want to do is, well, I guess a couple of things. I want to isolate to make sure I can isolate these lines from all of these elements ultimately. For these, I got them grouped. Great. Properties, general varies. Let me say ungroup everything. And I'm going to say select similar. And they're on layer 0. So what I'm going to do is start doing some layer property management. So LA, I'm going to create a layer. I'm going to call it 0 dash. I'm going to say slope percents. Make that yellow so I know it changes. And slope percents. And then properties, it's going to be by layer, so I know it changes. I actually want to go back and make that red though, because the red is thinner. I just want to make sure it changed. Boom, that's it. My lights as well. I don't want, this is not actually going to be my light. I guess I could erase it, but I don't want to go through that hassle. So I'm going to grab those and layer properties manager, just new layer, 0, lights, and This time, I'm going to believe, put those on lights. Cool. Cool. And I'm using land effects. So land effects, I told you this before, they have pen settings, right? So I can go to my land effects pen settings, and each color has a thickness. So I want to use a dark yellow, a 40 for my building line. Okay, so I'm going to use 40 for that. So I'm going to go back to CAD somewhere here, and I'm going to change those to, under my properties, to color. I've already made this. If it doesn't appear, you say select color, and I'm just going to say 40 and say okay, and it should change. And then when we print in land effects, they'll actually print thicker. All right, people we can isolate and stuff, so that's fine. So once I have my section kind of made and you get the information where it's supposed to be, and maybe this thing is bothering me, so maybe that is, oops, PL, and I'm just on ortho. Okay. So maybe something like that. It's not huge like that, but maybe it's like stepping down. Who knows, something like that. And this is just me. Again, we should go out and look and see, but something that's not that. All right. So maybe it's more stepped like that. And you're kind of seeing this thing occur. I'm gonna say a light's behind it anyway. Okay. All right. So you have this kind of shape, this thing going on, blah 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 blah. And now I need to isolate. So I'm gonna go. I have the plan view diagram in this. Whatever other layout we have, we'll have to shift that and make sure that everything fits in there a little bit better. But I'm gonna go here and then go to another layout, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna make it 11 by 17 page setup manager, modify, and I'm gonna make this DWG to PDF, 11 by 17, just a regular 11 by 17. Where are you? And I'm gonna do land effects, display, okay, boom, kick it out, boom. Okay, so then I'll have my little section right there, so I can kind of zoom into it. So what I want it to be, it's 0.05 right now. I don't know. For me, that 1/16 worked, scale worked. So play with it for you. That was just a lucky guess right there for me. I want to make sure that my lines, are going to cut that into that building space. No, we don't need all that either. Just go like that. For my sky, that's fine. Cool. This is a nice base. Now I can double click on this too, and then I'll just I'll lock it so I can work in here a little bit better. And then I can trim some of this stuff out. Like maybe I don't need that one. Let's talk about that. It leads into the building. So it's very clear. It's trimming at that building. Make sure the building's coming down. Trimming that building. Oh, okay. And if I had the academic, the student center outline, I can put it in the background, but I don't. So, and then again, the true section shows what's along here, and I'm showing a lot of more information anyway, just try to give it more visual interest and express more information to in the drawing. So boom, we have this, and then what I want to do is basically isolate. So I'm going to do lay ISO, and the first thing I'm going to isolate is actually my trees. Let me grab my trees and just get those things isolated. The things that are just going to be references for me. So I'm going to grab those, my lights, I am going to then right click and then say isolate objects. Okay. And back to paper space, and I'm Control P. And I've already created a folder for this. So I called it section cut. So I'm going to call this section 1 references. And then go back here. And I am going to isolate end object isolation. And double click in here. And I'm going to lay ISO. The other ones are on that layer, so it ain't gonna matter. So lay ISO, boom. I really don't even need that memo. Okay. And Control P. And I'm gonna call this section 1 lines. And then the last thing I'm just gonna bring over, I'm just gonna Control Z this time, go back. Do the select similar, and I'm gonna isolate selected objects. Just when I have those, they might be a little bit too small in my rendering, so I can delete them, but I'll have them if I want them. And also we can modify them and make them larger if we really wanted to, if we thought it was important to convey that information. Say section 1 grade notes. Maybe slope percent. Cool. So now I'll go into Photoshop, and this is kind of what we're trying to achieve. I'm going to go File, and I'm going to say Open. I'm going to go to, where I put them things. Remember where you put your stuff, it's important. Section Cut. Then I'm going to go to Section 1 Lines first. Open. We already know. Media box, not bounding box. Okay. I'm going to name this Section 1 lines. This should start to feel familiar with stacking these things now. I'm going to say white background. I'm going to do a Shift F5. I want to go to my color. I'm going to go all up here in that corner to get that white. Boom. Say okay. Cool. So now I can see it. I can see it. Now I'm going to use this method to make sure I'm zoomed out all the way so I see my entire frame. My section lines, I'm going to go File, Place Embedded, and then I'm going to go to my references, place, make sure it's media box, okay, and then boom, so I have a reference point for those pieces. Now I'll do the same thing for the slope percents. Definitely media box, okay. That's what I want. They're tiny. It's okay. We can turn them off if we need to. Now I want to start adding some color, right? So, and some of those entourage pieces to make this thing look better. So I'm gonna use my section lines as a reference here. Just identifying this piece here, and the first thing that I'm gonna do just simply is, just create a sky color. Bring that below. However you want to pick this. I'm going to do a light washing of blue right now. And this time for background color. However you want to do it. I'm just, boom. Alright. And then maybe for now, just kind of turn it down a little bit so it's real light. Okay. Giving me something. Now, in the same essence, I can kind of go in with my section lines, and I'm going to do what I know are brick. Maybe these are brick too. Maybe that's brick and all. Maybe all that's just brick. Brickety brick brick. Okay. And then I'm going to say brick color. And Shift F5. And then I want to do, see if I can't do that pattern. And I've downloaded a brick pattern where you get the seamless textures. You can find, you actually might even have a brick pattern in your options, but I'm going to my patterns. I've uploaded a brick pattern. I guess I should show you that too. So I'm going to say seamless brick texture images. I'm going to go, not that one. I'm going to say copy image. Doesn't look that good to me. I don't want all that. That's the one I picked before. Okay, well. I'm just gonna go with something. So copy image is what you're gonna come back here and then come over here. I'm gonna Control D. I'm gonna define this first and just Control V so it's above everything. I'm gonna Control click on the actual image icon. Then I'm gonna say edit, define pattern. Okay. Control D, delete, and then back to my brick, my brick color. I'm gonna do. Go back to my section lines. Boom, boom. Not too hard though. Everything was brick. I can zoom in holding Alt. My middle click button is a scroll wheel, and I'm just gonna drop pattern in here. So foreground color. I'm gonna try to drop that pattern instead, and I'm gonna say okay. Now can I control that now? How do I do that? No, I don't do that. I've never done that. I thought I was doing something different. Do Shift F5 because I don't know how to control the scale of it. I want to do just the color, and I'm going to do that and say okay. Boom. Now once I have that, I'll do the pattern overlay just so I can. I thought it was going to let me control the scale of it. So I can control the scale of it. So this is the same brick that we just brought in this instance. I can then control the scale and just come down to kind of make it look like something that would be more realistic, and it looks pretty good to me. Now I want to find some, I should have put caps on these things, concrete caps, and not just the brick piece, but oh well, you get the idea. Be better than me. For section lines here, I might come in this, and that's that concrete walkway. So then for me, I'll come in and say like that. Let's say concrete walkway. I'm going to grab a gray color. And again, Shift F5, and this time it's foreground, so I already picked it. Boom. And maybe the section line 2 is for the outline for this. Ooh, caca. Control D to deselect. I'm gonna go here. And I'm gonna put those on concrete. And just say Shift F5, foreground color, concrete too. Just keep it all like that, keep it nice and clean. So always gonna save, right? So I'm gonna save on my computer. Section cut lines, I'm gonna say section 1 line. Okay. Then I am going to start bringing some trees in, so I can do it in different ways. I can just look for, let's say, right, so if I wanted to find like an oak tree, maybe that'll work. I can go here, copy image, bring it here, Control V, make sure it's above everything right now. And I want to remove background, to give you that option on that thing. It's going to do its thing and think, I guess. I don't know why it's so hard for it. That's why you save in case things crash. Hopefully, remove the background. Slow. Uh-oh, crashed on me. So that's why you do that. So I'll go back to Photoshop. And I will pause this to see what my dog is tripping about. Okay, so I'm gonna open back up that file. It should be in on my desktop, and then section cut. See what this thing look like. All right, let's try it again. So I'm gonna copy image. Come here. I'm gonna go to my layers. Top them, Control V and Control T, and I'm gonna stretch it out. Hold Alt, roll in. Try to get the size. Maybe it's a little bit too big. Okay, looks pretty good to me. Then I'm gonna hit W for Magic Wand. Deselect contiguous this time. I'm going for the white, and then hit Delete. Just do it the old school way. I use my M for Marquee tool. I want the rectangle. If not, click up here, hold it till you get the rectangular piece, because I really don't want all that. Or maybe I want a little bit more of it than that. Make my marquee tool. I just want the dirt. Maybe I want that. Okay, that's pretty good. Once I have that, then I can kind of, place it and zoom in. And maybe that does look a little. You just gonna have that little cut right there anyway. It'll express that tree. Okay. And then maybe I'm on this tree. I'm gonna select my move tool and deselect auto select. And I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna copy that in Control V so it puts it another layer. There's another layer. And this one might go here. And this one, because it's in the background, I want to fade it. So you start playing with the opacities of these things. Right. And then I go back to this one, and maybe I held Alt and made a copy that time, and just drag it over with Move. And this one, we'll bring it behind it because it was further, I think it was further behind. And then kind of reduce its opacity too. All right, cool. Then what I can begin to do, and kind of group those maybe is Shift G. Shift G? No. Control G. Control G makes it into a group. I'm gonna call these my trees. I can begin to turn off my references to see what this thing is kind of looking like. All right, kind of see what it's looking like. I can also create a layer mask. So I'm gonna go to my section lines here. That wasn't a section line reference. Better than the other. What is it? Ain't it section lines? Oh, contiguous needs to be selected. Selecting here, and I am going to Control Shift I to create a mask around my tree, so just so it masks out anything below that line, so without trimming the tree. So I have that. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm missing my people, so I can go back to section references. So I have a person size. Again, the same way you can do seamless. You can try to recreate these things. Let's try to use the generative AI, see what happens. We'll give it a try. So I'm going to use the rectangular tool. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to say, I'm going to click here, and then generative fill, and I'm going to say silhouette of woman standing. See what it does. I don't know. If not, we'll find something else. It can be suspect sometimes. Okay. It's not horrible, but her legs are cut off, so. Okay. Ooh, Lord. Okay. Okay. So maybe maybe we'll go with our own version. So I'm going back to layers. I ain't like that. Just wanted to see what it would do. I'm going to go here and just, there's brushes you can get for this. There's really all types of stuff. I'm going to get just people, silhouette, elevation. This is kind of a quick way of doing it, and just to try to find one where that's cool. I'm going to copy the image, bring it over. Again, kind of in a similar light, Control V, drop them in, hit the W for magic wand, clicking the white piece of that just to delete that, and then Control D and deselect. Then I'm going to zoom out, Alt, Control Wheel, Control T for transform. And it should maintain constraints automatically now as a default. And I'm just going to shrink these people down to, now it's tripping to fit. I'm trying. There you go. So maybe that's still a little big. That looks about right to me. Then I'll say okay. So then now that I have that, I'll just kind of move them around. So maybe this. I don't know why these little kids will be over here. Oh, maybe they just looking. They over here looking at where they're gonna go to school. Okay. But again, trying to create a sense of scale. I'm actually gonna delete that little footmark that was there. I don't need that either. Oh, I got a top of his head. That's why. Dang, bro. Maybe on this, that's kind of cool. I can kind of convey somebody can sit. So I'm just going to grab them and move them over here. They shouldn't be sitting there, but you can. All right. That looks good to me. I don't think I need them. But this person, I'm just using my marquee tool again too. Oops, wrong. Desktop 2. It's desktop 1. I know I had a desktop 2. What did I do? Desktop 2. Windows Control left. That was weird. Anyway, don't do that. It's not, but so I'm just gonna move this person over. Like there. Kind of walking in. That starts to look okay to me. So zoom out, make sure I have enough. It's kind of blank over there, so I'm gonna take Control D to let go. I'm gonna take this gal here. Bring her over there. Control D, maybe this person here. No. Put them here. And actually, the grass, that's okay. All right, now I don't want the rest of them right now, so I can just delete the ones that I don't want. I'm not going to use for this. Control D. I'm kind of starting to build a section. Now I can get rid of the reference lines, and I'm kind of left with these elements that are beginning to again express what's going on in my section. Now I can also go back into AutoCAD and do labels and bring those labels back over, but at a basic component you can do this. Different ways to do clouds and different, I can do like a seamless sky texture. Maybe it's something like this where I copy the image, and that's pretty too. Uh-oh, try to trick me. And copy the image, come over here. Maybe the orange is too much. Because again, you're trying to make them attractive, but at the end of the day, you know, you're really trying to convey the information that's in the section. The same way where I can go back to my section lines and kind of click here and click here and really kind of create a mask. Oops, Control Shift R, Control Z, turn that off. Control Shift R, and then should be masked like that. So I have that. Now you have this kind of evening scene, right? And I want to make sure all that is always below, and that is where they are. And you can always use saturation and ooh, got kind of like Miami now. And kind of play with this, right? And saturate it, lightness. That looks pretty good. And kind of that easy, you're able to kind of create these things. Not that bad. And again, for the labels, I would go back in and into AutoCAD. And use that layer on. See, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, so then maybe I create another layer that is 0 labels. And I'm on it. Same way, now I can use the M-Leader tool, M-Leader, and click a point, drag out, and I can type, you know, like memorial area. Alright. And maybe more layers actually right here, Captain. And then making sure you're picking the appropriate size font, so I can click on it. Looks a little big to me. So I'm kind of like coming back over here and I'm looking at my heights 0.8, so maybe 0.15. It's a little bit better, maybe 0.13. Okay, so it's not obnoxious on it. And again, you want it to speak, but not scream. Even that seems a little bit too big for me. Let's say 0.10, and I'll make the arrowhead 0.102. Okay. Cool. Then once I have my label, I can just continue to label and go around and, you know, walk away maybe. So on and so forth. If you have names for things, I always encourage you what to name the spaces. You can start, you know, doing those things here. You know, maybe that's there, and you name the building the Scott Hall. You could always take this too and put one here, and I could explode it and get rid of that. This is, you know, one of the quads. I don't know what are they called. So on and so forth. Create your labels, and in the same way, I would lay ISO. Oops, LAYISO, and then I can Control P those things and kick them out. Kick them here. Section 1. Labels. Take them out. Photoshop. Very important. You zoom out. It's also looking really dark to me, so. Just do a brightness. Yeah, something like that. Then I'll do, go back to my layers. I'm going to come up to here and then File, Place Embedded. And that would be like my, did I not just do that? Labels, yeah. Place, Media Box. Okay. Okay. And then I might want to make sure that that's above everything. And maybe they're white. Anyway, you get the gist and the idea. And that is how you create your sections to begin to tell your story. Once I have that, if I wanted to erase the frame from this, you know, you can certainly do that. I can go back to my section lines and Once it's set, what I would do is in File, save a copy, and I'll turn this one into a JPEG, put it here, and then this is section 1 complete, and do something like that. Then you could always open up that JPEG, as not to offend and mess with this, and still do manipulation, and I can. Open up. Where you at? There you go. Oh, oops. E. Got it. Okay. If I wanted to paint right over some. Yeah. What's that? You can do the manipulation to it. I guess I could have done a mask or something too. I was just tripping. I'm not tripping. I can kind of come in if I didn't want that line there and just paint over it or delete it, and just to make things cleaner. You can also maybe fade that edge if you wanted to. Again, that's the focus, being able to cut the section that you will understand that. This is just kind of like extra stuff. If I wanted to fade, I can go to E for eraser, and then to the soft brush. In this instance, I would need to do a Shift F5 foreground to make sure there's a white background, but I can go here and then softly crease it with the brackets. My flow is at 39%, and just kind of fade these things out. This kind of gives it a softer look. You kind of start building this thing. Let's get smaller so I can control it. Could be argued I caught that a little bit too much, but that's okay. And there you go. Print that out and have your labels and be able to speak to that about what's going on. Then you would have your section line in your CAD drawing so people can know where this is coming from. But that's effectively how you begin to build these. You see little anomalies. If you need to fix things, you can. I'd probably go back to CAD to fix that. But you get the idea. And that's it. Any questions, let me know.